Hi everyone, I'm Keith Urban. Nikki Mitchell was Waylon Jennings' longtime friend and manager. And before her death, Nikki challenged her friends in the music community to shine a light on the need for research.
My name's Oliver McDonald. I'm a physician scientist at Vanderbilt University here in Nashville, where I study pancreatic cancer. Originally from Tennessee, so I'm very familiar with Nashville and Music City. Even from a young age, I wanted to be a scientist. I always liked solving tough problems, and I really never came across such problems that were as tough as pancreatic cancer. It's kind of the Wild West. It's a very underfunded, under-treated, not well understood disease. It actually takes tumors several years to grow in a patient before they get aggressive and spread to other parts of the body and become resistant to treatments. And so what that means is we can detect pancreatic cancer early enough at a curable stage and potentially develop therapies aimed at the molecular events that occur during those early periods to potentially cure it before you would get to the point where you'd need a Whipple operation or heavy dose chemotherapy for a widely metastatic disease. Breast cancer, colon cancer, other cancers have done a much better job of making the public and Congress aware of their situation, and because of that they've been well funded, and because of that huge progress has been made. So much so that by the year 2020 pancreatic cancer is actually going to be the second leading cause of cancer deaths in the United States. Why is that? Well, one, it's not that it's increasing so much in incidence, it's because we've made so much progress in these other cancers because they're funded. Pancreatic cancer has not been funded, and so no progress has been made. So how can Nashville and the Music City community, how can they contribute to raising awareness for pancreatic cancer? I think in a huge way. We actually have talks about Nashville when we go to our pancreatic cancer research conferences and what an untapped resource it could potentially be. Name recognition, the population that we know can get behind causes. I think they can make a huge difference in not only fundraising, but also increasing public awareness, interfacing with other organizations such as PanCan, the Nikki Mitchell Foundation, and even taking things to the state legislature and beyond that. I think Nashville's a great untapped resource for pancreatic cancer. It's an ugly disease. By the time it's detected, because we don't have an early detection method, patients are well advanced, often with cancer all over their body. The disease itself is not pretty, and the treatments we have are even uglier in many cases. Just a terribly devastating disease that once you see a patient with pancreatic cancer, you'll never forget it. However, we have lots of reasons for hope to fight this disease and eventually cure it. And they're all coming from the research that we're doing. Very, very exciting research on several fronts. First, we now know that we can detect the disease early. And because of that, we know we can probably treat early disease and cure it before it becomes advanced like most patients now present. We've worked out the pathways at the molecular mechanism that drives early cancers, and we're developing medicines that we hope will target those and eradicate early disease. We're also working on late disease. We're working on new and better treatments than we currently have that are, in all essence, ineffective and have horrible side effects. There's lots of advances being made on that front. There's a field called immunotherapy where we're developing vaccines and using the patient's own immune system to target and combat patients' tumors. Lots of progress in that area, lots of promise. So I think what we need is just more funding. Pancreatic cancer used to lag behind other cancers because it wasn't studied, it wasn't funded. Now pancreatic cancer is taking the lead. We're at the forefront of cancer research, and that's a direct reflection of the funding that we've gotten over just the past several years. That's how fast we're moving in the field of pancreatic cancer. We have some of the best and brightest people I've ever met, and if you just give them some funding and some time, they'll work out this horrible disease. I'm quite confident of it. Some of the stuff we do costs a lot of money. And that's where collective fundraising comes in. Lots of people over a big city like Nashville, or even multiple cities across the country. That's where fundraising at that level is important. However, I'll say some of the best experiments I've ever done have not cost a lot of money, you know, $1,000 or $2,000. And I think that's where fundraising at the individual level can come into play. Not everything in science costs a ton of money. We don't have to sequence an entire genome every time we do an experiment. Many times it's not that much money for us to make huge insights. So fundraising for our research is really generated by increasing awareness of the disease. And in this regard, the Nikki Mitchell Foundation is doing this through the music industry, starting there and taking it to a much larger level. That's what's needed. That's what's been done for other types of cancers where survival rates have greatly improved. That's what we need for pancreatic cancer. If we're going to prevent this from becoming the second leading cause of cancer death by the year 2020, we need to create greater awareness of the disease. And that's what the Nikki Mitchell Foundation is doing through their work in the music industry.
So please join the music community and help us find a cure. Go to nikkimitchellfoundation.org to learn more.